Hey, book lovers, welcome back to Shelf Addiction, the podcast where we dive deep into the pages of thriller and fantasy reads. I'm your host, Tamara, and today we are diving into a recent booktop popular romantasy. But first, quick heads up, if you crave the full visual experience and want to ditch the ads, head on over to Patreon. You'll unlock ad-free video episodes, exclusive after shows, and other bonus content. If you prefer audio only, Spreaker listeners, you're in luck. After shows and exclusives are available there as well. If you want even more bookish banter, join our community over on the Book Clubs app, and don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening. Speaking of community, I'm thrilled to welcome back my fantasy and romance ride or die co-host, Casey from Heartful of Ink. Welcome back, Casey.
Yay, I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, thanks for joining me on this one.
Of course, anytime.
Yeah, so you can find both of us online in all the usual spots. The links for everything are in the show notes, so please do click around, do all the things. We appreciate you for doing it. Before we begin, I want to remind you that we talk full spoilers with Book Chat, so spoiler alert, you've been warned. Today we are discussing the book Shield of Sparrows, written by Devney Perry. The audiobook is narrated by Jason Clark and Samantha Brittmore. Published May 6, 2025 by Entangled Red Tower Books and Tandor Media. The hardcover is 511 pages. The unabridged audio is 19 hours and 51 minutes.
Oof. Damn.
Yeah,
that's a long book.
It is. Casey, would you kindly share the synopsis?
The gods sent monsters to the 5 kingdoms to remind mortals they must kneel. I've spent my life kneeling to their will and to my father's. As a princess, my only duty is to wear the crown and obey the king. I was never meant to rule, never meant to fight, and I was never supposed to be the daughter who sealed an ancient treaty with her own blood. But that changed the fateful day I stepped into my father's throne room, the day a legendary monster hunter sailed to our shores, the day a prince ruined my life. Now I'm crossing treacherous lands beside a warrior who despises me as much as I despise him, bound to a future I didn't choose and a husband I barely know. Everyone wants me to be something I'm not, a queen, a spy, a sacrifice. But what if I refuse the role chosen for me? What if I've made my own rules? What if there's power in being underestimated? And what if, for the first time, I reached for it?
Okay. So, when you finish the last page...
Do you want to go first? Because I don't know if I'm having the right reaction.
Okay. I mean, any reaction is appropriate, to be honest. But
well, yes.
I think that I was like, oh, that was good. You know, my first instinct was to say I liked it. Mm-hmm. Although I had several issues on the journey. So I was like, okay, I'm kind of curious to see where things go. So it did leave me in a place where I want to know what's going to happen next. So that's a good thing.
That is a good thing.
And because my first initial reaction was I liked it, I feel like that's a win for Book Talk.
It is. It really, really is. Because normally we come in here to Book Talk just hating, just straight hating.
Yeah. Now, is this the quintessential pick for a romantasy? Is this the most unique book you ever read? Hell no.
Hell no.
Hell no.
Oh no.
It's pretty
standard.
Expected. Yes. Yeah.
Very, very tropey.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where I'm at too. It was a good read, a good book. I just don't know if my brain is like turned up to a 10 on the editor scale because I spotted every single plot twist in the very beginning, like from the initial onset of the story. And then by the time we got to the end of the book, I was just really annoyed that it had taken us over 500 pages to reveal all of this. And I was like, I just want more from the story. I've known this from the start. Give me something else.
Yes.
And I don't think a normal person would have that reaction.
Well, you know what? I didn't spot every single one, but I was pretty damn close. So the obvious one, I knew the prince wasn't the prince immediately.
From the moment they were in that throne room.
Yes.
It was painted red on the wall obvious.
Yeah. It was like, arrow, look at this. Ding,
Yes.
ding, ding.
Yes.
It was so obvious. And then for it to take so long to be revealed. And maybe that was the author trying to tease us and get us like excited for their banter and their leading up to. And I guess she was.
They had to be real enemies and really hate each other. But good God, that just went on forever.
And for poor Des to feel like she was entitled to have lusty feelings about Ransom. She had to literally find the prince that she thought was the prince.
Her husband who's been gone for most of the book.
He's barely around, but she had to find him with other people in order for
Which was another big fucking clue.
Yeah. Actually,
as soon as I saw that maid was sleeping with the king, I was like, okay, so she's evil.
Yes.
Okay, so she's a spy. She's evil. She's out to get her princess or queen, whatever. Like, it was just like, okay, because a normal maid would not just randomly sleep with the king who's married to her queen, who obviously has not slept with his queen this whole goddamn time.
Even though she tried to say that she met someone else first, and then,
then they just shared. Like,
because he likes to
share.
Sounds like that's his MO. He likes to have threesomes or something. So,
which they did mention early on in the book, but like also, no, you're not going to share the maid.
Right. Weird. And that particular maid, was her Josie or Joselle or something? She was ghost pretty quickly when they got to their to the treehouse community. Like, she wasn't around that much. The other maid, Brielle, was around. But that one, you never really saw her again. So that was a clear indicator she's off to no good.
Spying, being a better spy.
Yeah.
And like, even when our princess was first put on the boat with her two maids, she kept talking about how tall and beautiful and strong they were. And I was like, do you have a crush on them? Like, are we going to go that route? Because that would be interesting. We did not go that route. No. But she kept talking about that. And I was like, okay, so if we're not going down the fun gay route, we're going to see they're spies. They're something else. Like,
so I really thought that the Prince Xavier, like the pretend Prince
the
Xavier,
pretend prince,
I thought that she wasn't his type, literally. I thought you don't got the right equipment, girl. That's why he don't like you. But then later, when it was like, I was like,
he has a daughter and he's in threesomes.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what's going on with him. He's just like a F-boy with a kid that he supposedly loves to death. Very strange, but okay.
Very, very strange.
I guess. Two things can be true.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He had no personality, though.
He didn't. Because the thing was, he was just supposed to act like the prince. He was supposed to be the prince, but also be a dad, which is weird. I don't think he should have ever been allowed to, like, claim her because of the situation they were in. So you're trying to hide.
The fuck not.
So that also didn't make sense. You're trying to hide this girl, but you're going to let the guy who is pretending to be the prince raise her? That sounds dumb.
So dumb. It was so dumb. I'm sorry. It was so dumb.
Yeah.
Honestly, okay. Normally, I don't like kids in books. We've talked about this previously. We hate the pregnancy trope. I also hate the little kid trope. The one that's supposed to humanize everybody and everybody dotes on this little baby and she's like the most precious thing and running out with her crossbow and everybody's like, oh, let's, take her to go buy toys and go do this and go do that. I hate that so much.
Aww.
I hate that trope so much. She was there as a pawn to humanize Xavier, make Ransom look like he has some kindness in his heart.
Yeah.
To give, I don't even remember our main character's name. Odessa, yeah. It was meant for her to like learn how to spy because she fails on her own. So this 4-year-old has to teach her how to be a spy. Like, it was just so She was the most annoying thing in the whole story.
She literally helped her make two big discoveries, the child did.
Minimally.
So, at least two. So the
yes.
books, toward the end, it was the books that were in the queen's room, who was acting like she was a tutor.
Room.
The secret, her secret room, the secret queen's secret room. And earlier, she took her down to the dungeons or something where she wasn't supposed to be. So this little girl just got a big mouth, as most little kids do.
And also, like, at one point, she stopped her and was like, let's listen to these people talk. And Odessa was like, wait, you listen to people talking? And I was like, you're supposed to be a spy. I know your dad didn't teach you anything, but, like, stopping and listening to people talk is spying. This 4-year-old is teaching you how to spy better than anything else in this story. It was...
So, to take it all the way down to, like, the base... We understood that she had zero plans on being the, what do you call it? The sparrow.
The bride.
The bride, the sparrow.
The sparrow.
She thought it was going to be her sister. She never trained for it. The father always picked the sister as the sparrow, not her. And we understand that. But I'd like to know why. And I guess we kind of got a glimpse of the possibility at the end of the book, but it seems so weird. Like, why are you dyeing your hair? Why? You're the oldest, but you were never picked as the sparrow. What is the secret? And that is something we still haven't addressed. The author is holding that for the next book.
Annoyingly, yes.
Yeah, like, give us a little something. Like, why? And then why didn't you get any of the training that your sister got? None. So she just, like, she went to weapons training once, failed,
so annoying,
and quit. Like, what is that?
Like, okay, so first of all, she is the oldest, and typically, you know, you have the heir and then the spare.
Yeah.
The second child is the spare, but somehow it's flipped here. So the elder child is the spare who doesn't do anything, doesn't learn anything. And you would think that her father would have trained her at least a little bit.
Yeah.
At least over the years been like, learn how to spy. Learn how to interact with people and, you know, listen to conversations, or learn how to sword fight, because her sister could sword fight, but she can't even run.
Right.
She has to start with walking, which is absurd.
But
like, it was good that we got to see a heroine who can't do anything and, like, has to start at the very fucking beginning.
But yet she's cliff jumping. You're cliff jumping, but you can't.
But you can't run.
Right. Oh, okay. So there are some things to be desired.
Yes.
There are some things that need explanation and things that could have been done better and executed better. And I agree with the child. The child was kind of cute, but I also don't love the child being the center of everything.
Yeah. I would have enjoyed this book a lot more without her. Period.
She didn't need to be there. She really confused the story more. Maybe it was just another layer of the onion, so to speak. But now this kid is stuck with Des. I'm stuck with the prince's sibling.
Which, again, was also really obvious to me, because why else would Ransom be nice to this random child?
So, you know that scene where she figures out that Ransom's little treehouse is next to hers, and she thinks there's a woman in there? I said,
it was
there's
her.
a child in there.
Yes.
I said, it's not it's not what you think it is. Duh.
It never is. Oh, you're upset that he has somebody in there he's talking to? I was like, it's either Xavier or a child or like something
else.
A soldier or something.
His mother. Anything
his mother
other than what you think it is, because you're so dense.
And
he was really mean to her. It's like it was his goal to have her hate him the entire time.
Which is dumb, but men are dumb, so, like, let that slide.
So he was like, he accomplished his goal, and then they started using the word hate as love. I hate you. I know you do.
I hate you. Yes, you do. Yes, you should.
Okay, we know. So
yes.
I don't know. And then all of a sudden, he just spills his guts, you know.
Mhm.
I'm
Mhm.
dying. I'm sorry I lied, but now you'll be free. Like all this bullshit. But is she really? No, she's gonna be
No,
the
of course
queen.
not.
And she gotta take, and you just made her promise to take care of your fucking sister. So what
Mhm.
kind of freedom is that?
That's not freedom at all. She's still bound to your land as queen.
Yep.
She'd probably have to marry Xavier no matter what, because he was still alive at that time. He might die, but he will probably survive because this author's like, oh, wait, he's still alive right now.
Yeah.
So he'll probably live.
But he won't be the king anymore.
No.
It looks like Ransom has freed him of that
Which is
responsibility.
good. This poor boy should not have been pretend prince for 11 years.
Yeah, over a decade of his life.
Ugh. And pretending to take care of somebody who is the princess, but they're not letting her be the princess. But that was sorry. I need to let that go. That was just so.
That was a little much too. So they're telling her she's the princess. So this little girl has been lied to so bad. When she gets old enough and someone tells her the truth, she's gonna be like, wait a minute.
She's gonna like try to destroy all of them
because
her real mother was her mentor, maid, tutor person, but never told her, and then got her head chopped off. Her real father, or her father,
is the king.
But the man she's calling Papa is only kind of like her cousin.
Yeah, it's her cousin. It's her cousin. Because he's the prince's cousin. So that's her cousin as well.
No, that's her cousin.
Yeah.
And then her uncle Ransom is actually her brother. And they all know, and they're all just lying to her and telling her, we can't claim you because we don't want people to think you're actually a princess, but we're going to let the fake prince claim you as a ward. So you know you're a princess, but apparently that won't put danger on your back.
If you're
even though it absolutely still would.
Yes, if you're the ward of the prince and they want to get back at the prince, they'll take the kid that they know he cares about, regardless if it's blood or not.
They'll be like, oh, well, she's still a princess anyway because she's under the care of the prince/future king. Right. So she's in line for the throne. Let's get rid of her. Like, it was so dumb.
Yeah, the tangled relationships didn't really... Like, I understood it all. It was fine, but the reason for it seemed weak.
Dumb.
Yeah, the reason for it was weak. So we know, and when we got his mother's story, that also was interesting. So the mother, who was the tutor, the math science tutor, she's such a brainiac. She was with a man. And then her father liked the man, but said he wasn't of this house or whatever. So she could not marry him.
Yeah, he was like a different land.
Yeah. So she ended up having to marry, what's the dang king's name? The king, who also has an R name.
Oh, I forget.
I don't know. It's another R name. It's like
Ransom 2.0, except it's not.
Something like that. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. So she marries him, but never loves him. But apparently he loves her so much. He gives her everything and just hopes and prays that this woman will start loving him one day. And she never does. So he gets angry.
So I had a question about this.
Yeah.
Supposedly, when Ransom was telling the story, her lover was already dead. But when the king was killing her, he was strangling her and kept saying, you killed him. Do we think that one is the king infected? Because this was almost identical to how the soldier tried to kill Odessa, strangling her and saying, like, you killed him, I need to kill you. Or two, do we think that the queen infected her lover at the time and maybe accidentally killed him herself? And then the king just kind of stumbled upon it.
I don't remember him saying you killed him. And this is like when the king first found her, right?
Well, this was told from Ransom's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
So Ransom came into the room and saw his father strangling his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, I need to go back and reread this, but I think he kept saying, like, you killed him, it's your fault. It was something like that.
Well,
but then when Odessa was nearly strangled by the soldier, it felt, again, like this is a very similar situation, which makes me want to question. And then we found out that the mother was, behind everything. So I was like, did she try and poison her husband? Did she poison her lover with this? Like,
I don't
this
even think it's that
feels
deep.
so...
I don't. There's something, I think there's a connection that is missed there.
Okay.
Because when that one random person on the street tried to kill Odessa, he was like talking about how his body was burning and he had to, like, I guess, do what he had promised, which was kill her. So it wasn't exactly the same other than the strangling itself. Like, it felt different.
That's what I was wondering, because this author, every other thing had been so, like, every other plot twist was so visible. This one felt like it was supposed to be a plot twist too, but it just wasn't resolved in this story. So I don't know if it's going to come out in the next one, or I'm just like grasping for something new that I didn't notice.
So, okay, at this point, I'm not sure who could make that revelation in the next
Maybe
book.
the king.
Yeah, maybe
he's
the
still
king.
alive.
Maybe he can express what was happening because she's dead. He's left, but do we trust him? Probably not.
No.
Everyone is kind of an unreliable narrator. Like,
Oh,
they all have their own
like,
versions of things, but
Ransom was a teenage boy and he was watching his father try to murder his mother. So it was mostly the strangling that was like, okay, this seems to be similar. This seems to, I don't know. It felt weird.
So who do you think sent do you think the king?
I don't know if the king sent the soldier or if it was the magical men doing it, or if this author is going on a deeper level, which she hasn't yet. So I don't know if I trust this, but like, it could be a thread through the monsters.
But that's the thing. Why would they choose to kill Odessa? Because she doesn't look like the queen at all with this stark red hair.
No. There's something about Odessa that people want her dead.
But see, I don't know if it's even that. Like, honest to God, I'm not sure they want her dead. I almost feel like that random guy on the street is something separate from the monsters. Because I feel like the monsters were coming to her.
Yeah.
They were like drawn to her. But I'm not sure, like, all that last fight, she's doing all that running around and shit. And no one tried to kill her. Not really. She's
yeah, that's fair.
So I don't know.
Except the magic man kidnapped her at the end. I cannot remember the name of their magic.
Right. So maybe I feel like there's something else the author has not revealed yet.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I don't think that makes sense to kill her, because if the biggest crux there, we found out at the end, is her mother. We think it's her mother.
We think.
Yes, because it's not been put on the page that is her mother. But the woman, the monster turned into a woman that had the identical hair as Odessa. So I'm like, she would not come to kill her own child. There's something else.
Yes. Oh, yeah. No.
So I don't know. It's to be fair, I guess the author did a good enough job making things tangled enough that we still have to read the next book to get everything untangled.
Yes, absolutely. There's just enough where I'm like, okay, what are you trying to do? And then, of course, I'm going to read it and be like, oh, yes, duh, of course. It was this very simple thing in my face the whole time.
Yeah. It's going to be like, oh, yeah, that makes total sense.
That makes sense.
I don't know. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of a lot of a lot.
Of a lot, yes.
And sometimes that's good. And I guess that kind of kept me interested, even though, like I said earlier, was able to spot some of the reveals early on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only thing I didn't expect was that her mother would be a monster. I kind of knew there has something
I knew something was
Yeah,
going on
but-
with her mother and the monsters. I didn't know the monster would turn into her mother.
That's exactly
But,
it.
like, again, in chapter 1 or chapter 2 or whatever it was, like, she walked through that hall and it had all the pictures of that bird. It had all the pictures of the monster destroying people.
Mhm.
And even her father was like, damn you and your attraction to that hallway or whatever. But, like,
That's
even
right.
he wouldn't get rid of it. So I was like, okay, so this is very important. This is somehow connected to her. And voila, mother
Yeah.
at the end.
But so far, she's not turned into anything. She's not been able to do something she was surprised by, right? She's
Not
been
yet, but
totally
she
normal
will.
so far. She's been totally normal. But I kept waiting the whole book
Mhm.
for, like, okay, when's your magic gonna just sprout? Like, what is it? What is your magic? What's gonna
Yeah,
happen?
same. And
Yeah.
again, like, in the early chapters, she picked up that necklace from her hiding spot and put it on and, like, felt the magical tingles.
Yeah.
And then, of course, she felt the magic with the magic men around the castle. And I was like, okay, so you have magic. We're establishing this early on. You have magic.
Mhm.
And like you, I kept waiting for something to happen. I kept waiting for it to come up. But it
Mhm.
never did.
It
And I
never
was
did.
like, come on.
Yeah, it
And
never
again,
did.
we're, what, 600 pages in before she learns that, like, everybody else doesn't feel the magic. Nobody else is scared of them because they don't feel it. I was like,
But
this
we
has been
knew that.
so obvious.
It's obvious because there were other times where she
Mhm.
had touched the guy and she had this reaction. Everyone else just standing around.
I know.
You're the only
kids
one.
running to go play with him. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, yay, bubbles, crowns. It's so
Mhm.
pretty.
Yeah, it's just her. And I'm like, why don't you express yourself? Like, you're starting to trust Ransom a little bit. Why
Mhm.
didn't you say anything? Like, you're just not going to say anything? Like,
Well, she finally does after
Yeah.
he sees her screaming about it.
Yeah.
Like, it was just so long. I wish this author hadn't dragged out all of her plot twists.
Mm-hmm. Give us some early on, like,
it was really, she had the great setup with it, but I wish she had revealed these things earlier, and then we could have gotten more out of this story.
You know, the perfect time to have revealed Ransom as the prince would have been when that first training montage.
Mhm.
And, you know, the faux prince was like, enough. And he says, when I say it's enough, he said, no, when I say it's enough. I'm like,
Yes,
oh.
like, that would have been good.
And then,
or on the boat,
Yes,
even. Like,
and then they could have still been angry at each other and still
Mhm.
hated each other. And it would have
Mhm.
been making more sense for them to take a longer time to, you know, I guess kind of start
Fall for
liking
each
each
other.
other. Yeah. Do
But
it
no,
sooner.
it was just annoying. Like, at this
Mhm.
point, I am sure, I'm positive there are readers out there who don't pick up on that just because they haven't read as many books as us, or they're not as attuned to the tropes as us. Like, 100% readers out there who will be surprised by that.
Mhm.
It just grated on me.
Yeah.
It just grated on me because I think you said it was 71% of the way through the book.
71%. I made a note. I said, oh my God, 71% before the
Jesus
reveal.
Christ. That
Yeah.
is no.
That was a
that
long
is
time.
Too long.
The whole time I kept thinking, like, okay, when is he going to say something now? Is somebody going to say something now? Like, what's
Mm-hmm.
It just kept going on and on and on. And he would come and go and come and go off and fight, come back, go off and fight. It was the fighting
Annoying.
was a plot device to just keep them apart, to keep
Mhm.
them. Yeah.
Uh-huh. And the concept, oh, well, my husband does this, and I need to think about my husband over here. And I'm like, he's been gone for like 2 months. You don't need to pretend you care about him.
Yeah.
You've spoken like 3 sentences to him because he doesn't speak. He
Mhm.
has no personality. He is just there in the air, so to speak. Like, it was just, he was
So
gone.
They decided for the faux prince not to speak,
Mhm.
just so that in case someone asked something he couldn't answer.
Pretty much. Like when they were teenagers, somebody would ask him stuff and he just wouldn't respond because he didn't know. And then they're like, well, let's just make you mute. Let's just say the prince is mute.
Yeah. He only talks to a small circle of people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even the people he's sleeping with don't know he can talk, apparently.
Which is wild. How do you stay silent during a threesome? Like, it's not just
Look, I'm
you
sure he
and
can
one
make
person.
noises, but he probably just can't talk, I guess.
That's even weirder. Why don't you speak if you can grunt and moan? Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
If you can make all these noises, why can't you speak?
I don't know. It's so weird. It's definitely, again, there are things that need to be tidied up a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's that I think just not speaking wasn't the way to go, although that was an easy way to make...
It was the easiest way to make it work.
Yeah. It was the easy way to trick her. It was the easy way to try to do a sleight of hand at that marriage sham.
Mm-hmm.
But even though we spotted it right away.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
If you were making a binding magical contract,
Mm-hmm.
you should be the one speaking. If somebody says, I speak on behalf of the prince, they are the prince.
Yeah. Duh.
Duh. Like, that was just the most, okay, duh moment. And then I kept
Mhm.
expecting him to reveal it. And reveal it. And reveal it. And I was just like, no. Like, it was so obvious.
He held on to so many secrets, and the author did that, I think, as more ways to kind of create tension, I guess. But he didn't need to hold on to all the secrets. Like, when he says, the story of his mother, and he talks about the little girl and stuff, why couldn't he just say who his mother was at that point? Obviously, Odessa wasn't going anywhere. Obviously, he trusted her at that point. You're going to tell her this much. Instead, you're going to make her try to figure out who your mother is? Just say.
Well, it may have been one of his blood oaths, because she did even joke about this at one point. She's like, how do you have any blood left when you've made all of these blood oaths? And I laughed out loud at that, because I was like, yeah, no, he's made a shit ton of blood oaths to so many people.
That's stupid. He doesn't need
It
to
is
make
stupid,
a blood
and
oath.
it doesn't make sense, and it's just creating tension where there doesn't need to be.
He's an adult. He was an adult when he rescued, quote unquote, his mother. He does not need a blood oath not to tell people who his mother is. He's an adult. He's not a child.
You'd think. There were so many things that just, like that just annoyed me.
I'm going to rescue and hide you and hide my sibling, and then I still have to do a blood oath for what? That's dumb.
Maybe so he couldn't tell his dad if he was ever taken and tortured? I don't know.
This character seems like he would die before he lets a secret out of his mouth that he doesn't want to.
Well, yes, but I don't know. I'm trying to come up with an explanation, and I got nothing.
Well, I don't know. The only people that should be under blood oaths are people that have a possibility of talking, like the nanny, right? Or whatever, who was helping his mother. She couldn't tell, but she was still going around giving her books to learn it anyway.
She's like, I can't tell you, but I can give you all of these books.
Yeah, study
I can't
up, girl.
tell you, but I can look at her and say, just tell them now. Like,
yeah, I guess it's a loophole.
I guess so.
So technically, I guess Ransom could have said, I can't tell you who my mother is, but you don't have to look very far, and she's great at science.
Yeah, she's around here in this house. You've met her. You know who she is.
Yeah, and that's it. I don't know, something. But, I think the author was she was trying. I feel like she was trying. But as you mentioned, as seasoned fantasy readers, the stuff is just so obvious.
So obvious.
Yeah.
And it's, again, like if she had laid this groundwork and then done some of these reveals at 20%, at 30%, and like slowly revealed more and more, and then had more plot twists at the end, that would have been fantastic.
Yeah.
But the fact that, like, again, 71% of the way through the book, we finally figure out, or he finally admits that he's the prince, and our heroine finally understands what's been going on this whole time. Like, no, that's way too damn long.
Co-sign on what you're saying. Okay, this is actually a great place to take a break. You guys, check out these commercials. By listening to those, you are supporting the podcast. Don't forget to pick up a copy of the book review journal available right now, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back, everyone. Let's finish this conversation. So, one thing that bothered me as well is why were they treating her like a freaking prisoner? So,
because she was? Like, who was treating her?
Okay.
Everybody
in Ransom was treating her like a prisoner. Like she talked about when she was go up to her little tree house, she'd go to bed, the step
they would
thing,
take the ladder
away.
The ladder
would disappear and then it would reappear in the morning. I'm like, what do you think she's gonna do exactly? We have someone that's...
My question is, were they smart enough to do this with the maids as well?
No, they weren't.
Which makes them dumb.
Right.
Like, so obviously this princess is too dumb to lie. She's trying to spy because she can't lie to save her life. But her maids...
Right. But that's all the whole point. Like, why even do that to her? If one, she can't fight, you gotta train her. She can't fight. She can't kill anybody. She's lying. You know she's not good at it. It's almost like just letting a child roam around. She's not going to be able to do shit. Like, why are we doing this? It's not like she's
the 4-year-old was better than her.
Yeah. I don't understand. Where do you think she's going to run to? And do what? Exactly. So I didn't really understand the whole, I'm going to keep you in this treehouse scenario. And yeah, you're right. Why not do that to her maids? Why not?
Or put the three of them together and lock them in the tower together. Like, that would have made more sense. No, and then at the end, he was always talking about, well, I want to give you your freedom. I'm like, what fucking freedom?
Right. What freedom? There is none. And the character did say, what freedom? What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, it was, the whole thing was... But yeah, no, the prisoner stuff, the way they kept her locked in the towers and in her rooms, and you can only do this, and you can only do that, and you can't leave, and it was annoying.
And the funniest thing, and I thought this as well, I knew what was going to happen, when she and her one maid, Brianna or Briella, whatever.
I think.
They make a plan for her to sneak out. So she's going to sneak out, go to the town, and I can't even really remember what her goal was, what she was supposed to be doing.
It's just spying, I think. She was just looking for anything at that point.
Oh, to like make a map or I don't know. She just didn't have any information still. She had nothing. Yeah. So they make a plan. She gets out of there. I'm like, obviously he knows you're gone, you dummy. Obviously. So because she had this dye in her hair, she's like, oh, I'll have my lady's maid walk around, look like me, and I'll just take the dye out with my stark red hair.
Because it's so easy to get brown dye out of red hair.
Yeah.
like that was just so easy. At every turn, she was like, oh, my hair got wet, and now it's bright red again. Like, this dye just doesn't stay.
Off. It just
rinses right off.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. But anyway, so she goes, and she sees, Ransom flirting up with some girl, and she's all acting jealous. I'm like, oh my God. Of course, he's right there in her room once she gets the room. I'm like, duh.
That was funny. Yeah, no, that was the dumb moment. My thing, though, I got really fucking mad at her when she just sat in there, ate her dinner, and then crawled into bed.
Yeah.
And I was like,
what are we doing?
Dumb princess.
Yeah.
You just broke out of your tower, so to speak. You're on your own. You have your freedom. And you just crawl into bed and, like, pout and cry that he caught you. Leave the fucking hotel.
Yeah.
Go to the bar. Go spy and do whatever you want to do. But no, she just, like, had to sit under the covers and pout until he crawled back through the window.
So weak.
So weak. Like, she didn't even have to do anything big. Just go down to the bar. Go down and eat her dinner around other people and listen to conversations.
Yeah.
Like, she could have... That was her whole goal. But
Talk
as soon
to
as she
some
was
random
caught, she's like,
guy.
I'm just going to lay in bed.
Yeah.
I'm just going to stay here and do nothing.
I mean, she could have flirted with the random dudes to try to get information. She could have did anything besides just stay in that room.
Exactly. She could have done anything. And she didn't. And then thankfully the next day the monsters attacked and she did fight. And I was like, okay, good. You have some sort of backbone. But like, for the love of God, don't just stay in your hotel room and do nothing.
Yeah. And then when the one lady dies, she's like, oh no, is that his girlfriend? She dead. I'm sorry, not sorry.
It was the sorry, not sorry.
That's what it felt like. She was like, oh.
She's like, I feel so guilty, but also maybe now he's actually single again.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, there was some
And then it turns out he was always single.
He
and
was.
Never with her.
No, it was all illusion in her head. But there were some funny things as well. There were some things that... So the story did have things sprinkled throughout that kept my attention, which was good because the pacing wasn't that great. So
it was slow. It was ungodly slow. I do want to say, like I've said this before, I really appreciate when we have a heroine who cannot fight, actually learn how to fight and have to go through all the like months of training and lots of basics. Like, I appreciate that because so often we're like, oh, you don't know how to fight? Here's a sword. 2 days later, you're defeating people who've been training for years. Like, I'm sick of that. So I am happy that it took her forever to learn how to fight. And then like at the end, she's like, oh yeah, months and months of training do pay off.
And she's still an average fighter at best. She's not really that great because when that guy attacked her,
Banner.
When
her
Banner...
ex-fiance.
Right. So, which also, that didn't make any sense. So you're going to come find your fiance and then put a bullseye on your back because you're going to be dead after you attack her, period.
Well, he wasn't thinking with any sort of logic. He's a dumb man. That. Also, his brother was like into human trafficking, and he was just like,
what?
It was a fight over a girl.
So he was going to get revenge by killing Des because once he found out who the real prince was, he thought, hey, I can kill you and get back at him because he killed my brother. But my brother was not a good person. So what is this? Very crazy.
Again, it felt like a not quite fully thought out plot point.
This is
kind of like we've talked about some of the other plot points here, where it was like, okay, you want to set it up so like her fiance hates the man she's going off with, and then we need him to show up at the end so she can prove that she knows how to fight. But we're just gonna like throw in this random story. And it just doesn't really fit, and it doesn't really work. And maybe he was gonna lie and say that like somebody else killed her, or the monsters came in and killed her, and it wasn't him. But also, he wanted that revenge. But also, apparently, he's been like so staunchly loyal to her father forever that like this would break that loyalty.
Well, yeah, you go and kill his daughter. So,
I don't know. That one wasn't thought out.
Like, I guess, but why? Like, you have more reasons not to do it than to do it, than to try to kill her. So you're saying your brother that wasn't a good person takes precedence over your fiance that you apparently love and came to rescue. Takes precedence over your loyalty to this king in your place. I mean, all of this, like,
it did not make sense.
No.
His whole character did not make sense. It was more of the trope, like he was just a trope character than an actual thought out plot point.
So that's where things start to break down with some of her connections and motives. Because as long as it makes sense, as long as it's logical, I can just accept it.
Mm-hmm.
But especially in this case, there was no logic about it.
No.
At all.
No. And I mean, sometimes there are people and characters who aren't using logic. Like, they're so consumed with emotion. But for him, it didn't really fit with his character.
No, he planned to come rescue Brielle. He planned that. He did all this stuff to get there. And then he's just going to throw it away? Just like that?
Yep. And then they both die. And it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah. They both die. How you like that?
How you like that? They're both dead. It's fine.
And that's another thing I can give props to as well. I like when people die. You can't have this kind of danger, quote unquote. Like, these monsters are really lethal. People must die every time there's interaction with them.
And that was, like, you have to give props to this author. She was ruthless. She killed off so many people. People we knew, people we didn't know. At the end, it was everybody we knew, but like there'd be random attacks throughout, and she'd be like, this little boy's getting his head chopped off.
Yes.
I was like, oh, damn.
Yeah. Some of it's like gory too. Like, oh, damn, they really... She is not...
You're dead.
She's cool with murdering people in the most horrific ways. It's fine. So I actually didn't mind that too much. I didn't mind that at all. I liked it.
That's one of the things I really appreciated about this story, is that like nobody was safe.
Yeah, and that's how it has to be. You can't have this kind of danger, have this kind of story. And I'm actually glad the mom died too. I'm glad the queen died, because you have to take players off the chessboard. You have to.
You have to.
And he should just be lucky, or I guess the character should be lucky that the faux prince even lived. I expected him to die, but then to see that he was kind of like...
I know. That felt like a cheat.
Yeah.
Where I was like, okay, he's dead. He's dead and gone. And then, oh no, he might actually survive. I'm like, this feels like you tried to kill him off and then you couldn't at the end.
Well, now he's alive enough. Hopefully he will heal and can take his child back, because the last thing I want is to have Odessa running around with this kid.
I know.
In the next book.
I would not.
That shit's gonna annoy my ass. Like, put her somewhere with these magic people until, Ransom can come get her.
Yeah.
Or, her daddy, quote unquote, can come and get her. Put her down. Sit that character down somewhere. I don't know how that's going to work, but if I have a whole book of her running around behind Odessa, that's going to be infuriating.
Completely infuriating.
And she's young. She's young still.
She's 4 years old.
4-year-olds are barely potty trained.
What
is this?
Seriously.
How are you going to fight anybody, do anything? And you got to look, she
has her little crossbow and she runs out and tries to go be a hunter like her papa.
Oh my God. You have this toddler and this little baby wild animal that you are trying to... Look, I actually was waiting on that animal to attack Banner, and it didn't happen. I was like, she put the little carrier down. I thought for sure the animal would go over there and try to bite his ankles or something.
Oh yeah,
but
her little
didn't.
monster pet.
Yeah, like, what are you good for? You're supposed to go after the enemies. The pet couldn't even do anything but sit there and be scared.
So, one theory I have for the future book is that our little 4-year-old princess is going to be abducted, and then the monster's going to track her down, or because they kept playing hide and seek and showing how oh, look, he can run around and smell where she's been, and he knows exactly where she's hiding under this bed or in this closet or whatever. But it was so detailed of oh, he ran into this room and he stayed in this spot because she stood here for a moment. So I'm like, okay, so in the next book, she's getting kidnapped and this monster's going to find her.
That would be a good way to put that character out of commission for a while. But then we're going to spend the whole time
worrying about her and trying to find her. It's going to be a whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, the way they detailed that hide and seek game, I was like, if this does not happen in the future book, this is irrelevant. Like, this should not have been included in the story at all.
Yeah.
But because it was included and because it was so detailed, she needs to be captured at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good, I guess of what will happen. I think that's pretty solid.
Mhm.
That's a pretty solid guess. Unless she just wastes it, throws it away.
Unless she was like, I just need to take up more space in my book. Let me add some pages here.
Yeah, I feel like she picked the most random monster that won't be able to do shit because, I don't know, this thing's supposed to grow and get really scary and hard to kill. But I feel like she picked a weakling that can't defend itself.
I mean, yeah, he was the runt and he is, I don't know, he's growing. Hopefully he'll grow into something better.
Like grow into like an adult attitude, I guess. I don't know. Maybe he would not be scared of other. I don't know. I guess we'll have to see what she ends up doing with her pet monster because that thing is not going away.
Yeah.
She's not going to release it, or if she does, it's going to come right back.
Of course.
Yeah, or she'll never release it and he'll be,
I don't think she'll release it
for her.
Yeah. I think she's going to keep it forever.
Yeah. So what about the green/black blood? Do you think that was interesting or?
I mean, it was just easy to see who was infected and who wasn't.
Yeah.
It didn't really, I don't know. For me, that was just like, okay, here's your world building. Infected people have green blood. All right, let's move on.
Yeah. It was like, what do you think about his mother kind of creating the catalyst for that?
That was interesting.
Yeah.
That, I will say, I really enjoyed that plot twist. I saw it coming just because, like, she kept pointing her finger at the magic dude. She's like, they did it, they did it, they did it. I'm like, okay, obviously they didn't do it because when you keep pointing at them, it's never them.
Yep.
But I did appreciate the fact that it was the mother being like, oh, I need to save my people. I need to save my son. I want to try this. And, oh, well, you'd lost so much blood. I had to give this to you. And all these other people took it and it never affected them. But all of a sudden it affected you after the bite.
Well, so it took something that was good, well-intentioned, right? She wanted to make them more durable people. Where they could hide for a long time and be underground and be more resilient, be able to fight, just make them stronger, healthier. She wanted to biohack them a little bit. That's what she wanted to do. But it ended up turning into this thing where now her husband is trying to create soldiers. Infallible soldiers.
Which is a smart thing to do as a king, I guess. If you want to fight monsters, let's try turning them into superhuman monsters too.
Well, but he just doesn't know that the catalyst for what changed Ransom was a bite from being bitten. So that's the difference.
He's failing.
He's killing people by injecting them with probably the blood or whatever. I don't know. She said they were trying to
say, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Again, I keep ranting about this, but like the moment the king and Ransom saw each other and spoke to each other, like it was so obvious, like you have 1 month to come home. Like, okay, obviously this is a father speaking to his son.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'll try to stop ranting about that, but that was just, there were
so
many clues everywhere, every time. It was always...
So the faux prince was standing there, but clearly he's talking to him. He's talking to Ransom.
Was he there in that moment? I thought it was just Ransom.
No, I thought he was like, well, maybe it was a different scene, but at one point the father was there, the king was there, and both the versions, Ransom and the faux prince were there. And the writing actually said, he's looking over here talking to him. Because he's like, I know you're standing in front of me, but you get your ass.
Yeah. No, there were multiple scenes where they all interacted, but there was one very specifically where he was like, you have 1 month. And I thought it was just,
I'm not sure.
just her and Ransom. And I was like, okay, so do you get it now? Do you get it now? And she didn't get it. And it was just
I think that
annoying.
was the place where they were trying to leave before he got there. Like, he had some intel that they were coming.
Dawn.
Yeah. And they couldn't beat them.
And they didn't leave in time, and he was there. Yeah, that was the whole thing.
Run.
Sorry, I keep ranting about that.
Because it was so obvious. That's why.
It was so obvious.
Which makes it frustrating for the reader, because I've got to assume that other people, even if they didn't catch it early, they started catching it later on. And it's like, we know, but the dang on character doesn't know. So.
And that just, it makes everything annoying. Yeah. It makes it annoying when the readers know, but your main character is too stupid to figure it out.
You know, that's her personality, though. She always complains about not being told anything, she's the last to find out everything. She really has a complex about, like, being the last to know. The last picked, the last to know, the last, she just...
She's so oblivious that I feel like people were probably telling her stuff, and she just went, oh, I don't know what you're saying. La da 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 da.
I could understand that. Yeah. Weird.
It was so frustrating.
It was.
But yes,
she's a frustrating character.
Both kings, her father and this king, they were both really annoying, and they both just need to pull their heads out of their asses and figure out how to rule better.
Honestly, her own father, I don't know why he just couldn't tell her what he needed and why. Because the thing is this.
Well, she can't lie. And he probably knows that if he told her the truth, it would have been written all over her face. And the first time Ransom asked her on the boat, are you here to spy? She'd be like, no.
Oh, well, she did that exact thing, and he knew.
She did it anyway.
So it's like, what's the point? Like, he's gonna... I don't know. It just seems...
No, it was dumb. It was dumb.
He asked
like,
her
just straight up.
Blank, exactly that. And he's like, you're such a bad
liar.
liar.
She's like, no, of course not. Of course I'm not here to spy. He was like, you're a bad liar.
But again, maybe the truth might have motivated her to learn how to lie a little better. I don't know. I mean, she was lying.
Or giving her some kind of context.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I'm not here to spy, but I don't know what I'm here to do either. Or I am here to spy, but I don't know what I'm doing. Which was just as stupid. That just seemed like a waste to me. And that way the character wouldn't have been so down on herself, because she literally thinks no one picks her, no one chooses her, no one tells her anything. It was kind of like, wow, okay.
I understand why.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. She
definitely had ADHD. The way her brain just hopped all over the place. Like, yes, she definitely has ADHD, but also, come on, girl, you can do better than this.
A lot better. So hopefully she will in the next book.
I hope so.
I
don't know if I want to read it, though.
No.
I don't know.
I feel like what's going to happen is either Book Talk will carry on and kind of forget about this until, you said there was a movie adaptation.
Yeah. The first paragraph of the blurb, which I skipped earlier, it says it's in development with Amazon and MGM. So movie.
I also
movie deal.
Kind of hate that they shopped this before the book was published, because that makes me wonder if it was more written with a movie in mind.
Absolutely not. Like, this is way too long to think that you can turn it into a 2-hour movie.
Well, everyone thinks serious now. Give me 4 movies.
I mean,
give me a TV show on Prime Video.
But, like, would you split this book into 2 different movies? Or would you try and cram it all into one movie?
I would just cut that book down. Honestly, it doesn't need to be that long. I would just chop it down and do one movie. Or I would do a season. I would do like 6 episodes or something.
I feel like 6 to 8 episodes would cover this one really well. Like, or a 4-hour movie or something. Like, one movie is not enough.
Well, no one is watching a 4-hour movie with an untested story.
Absolutely
No
not.
one is watching that shit. Like, you can't pay me to go sit in a 4-hour movie that is not somebody that is well known that I are in a franchise that I already know.
Yes, absolutely. But no, if this was meant to be a movie, I think they would have like only had 300 pages. Like a 300-page book can be easily turned into a 2-hour movie, whereas what was this, 600
I think it
pages?
says 511, I think.
That feels like a 2-movie thing or a 6-episode or 8-episode of a TV show. Like it's just long enough that you need more than one movie. And I know we keep saying it needed to be condensed, but I fear they'll cut too much and just rush it, and the movie will feel rushed and unfulfilled.
Well, I think they'll do that anyway, because they always hack up books mostly anyway.
Oh, absolutely. This is why I usually hate adaptations.
Yeah, every once in a while they do it right, where they're able to be surgical about the cuts they make instead of like just taking out broad sections of the book.
Strokes.
But I guess we'll just have to see what they end up doing with this, because I think what's going to happen is, like I said, either people are going to forget about it and move on. The option falls through, because it could be optioned and sit there for a long time. It's not even written yet.
Absolutely.
The screenplay is not written. They have a writer.
They have the screenplay writer,
they have the writer, but it's
not written.
It's not done. And then they have to obviously see edits, all of that. They still have to cast the thing, and sometimes stuff falls apart before it even gets there. So
absolutely, yes.
If it doesn't make it to film, people might forget about it. I
hope so.
And if it does make it to film, then the second book, whenever that comes out, it'll probably have one more couple of weeks on Book Talk, if Book Talk is still around.
Oh, yes.
I gotta say, I was like pleasantly surprised that for once I didn't absolutely say, "Oh my God, Book Talk," but I was scared.
Yes.
So
I
was petrified, because I don't know if you remember when I told you about this book, they were competing this book against that other book. They kept talking about them in the same breath. They came out together. It was like Silver. What was it? It was
Silver Elite.
Silver Elite. And then shortly after everyone was hyping Silver Elite, people were trashing it almost immediately. So right after this huge hype, people were like, "This shit's bad. It's bad. It's bad. What are you doing?" And then people started saying, "Well, Shield of Sparrows is better than Silver Elite. So if you're going to read them, read Shield of Sparrows first, because Silver Elite might put you off and you won't want to read Shield of Sparrows." So I'm like, well, let's just do this one.
I know, which is good. Like it was a decently written book. Yeah. It was just annoying to me.
Look, I don't know how the publishers are doing this anymore, because I wish I knew their formula and like how they get these people on TikTok to talk about these books, because they're
probably paying
that timing was immaculate. And I'm telling you, Red Tower just jumped on that bandwagon. Actually, I want to see who published Silver Elite.
It's a big publisher like Penguin or Tor or something.
Okay, so let's see. Silver Elite, Del Rey. So is that Penguin?
Oh, Del Rey.
Is that a Penguin sub?
I think so.
So right now, today, as it sits, as of our recording this, Silver Elite has an average rating of 4.08 with about 31,000 ratings. And Shield of Sparrow has 4.5 rating with almost 48,000 ratings. So whatever they were doing with Silver Elite, it tanked so fast. People stopped trying to read that book pretty quickly. So
yep.
I'm never going to read Silver Elite. I'm not even going to try. And that was a whole other commentary as well. People were trying to figure out who the author was for Silver Elite.
Have they figured it out? Or?
No, it's still a secret, but people have, some people said Stephanie Meyer. Some people said, what's that woman? Colleen Hoover.
I heard somebody make a joke that it was J.D. Vance because, like, there's a character named J. Vance or something. And I was like, okay, that's completely turning me off.
Yeah. So, but I'm glad we chose Shield of Sparrows, even though it was not epic by any means.
Yeah.
It was still enjoyable enough.
Good.
I got it done pretty quickly too. So yeah. So I guess decent job, Devney Perry. That's what we can say.
Yes.
All right, let's rate it. Do you want to rate it, or is there more
I'll
things?
rate it. Yeah. I mean, I can keep complaining, but I don't think you want to hear me say the same stuff over and over and over again. I'll go first.
Okay.
I give it 3 stars. It's a good, solid book. I'm just not the right audience or the right mood for it, I guess. Like, it's well written. I'm just way too annoyed with it.
I still, to this very second, I'm not sure what I'm going to rate it. I'm thinking, okay, so the vibes part of me wants to say it was a 4-star because I liked it. But the critic in me wants to give it a 3-star because there were so many things wrong with it.
Absolutely. If I could, like, turn my brain off and just vibe with it, yeah, it'd be 4 stars all the way.
Yeah.
But I am so annoyed and so critical, and I'm just like, it's still well written, but I would have changed or liked so many of these issues to be tweaked or changed or different.
Ultimately, I'm going to go with a 3-star because, for this reason, I'm going to go with the 3-star because it's totally within the realm of possibility. Unless it's served up to me again on social media, I'll probably never come back to this book again, this series. I won't remember it.
Yeah, same. Unless TikTok, Book Talk blows up when book 2 comes out.
Yeah.
Or if the movie actually happens, like, I won't remember it.
And I feel like I got burned so many times. And I'm just going to say one book that started out interesting, and I feel like I got burned by it, which is Fourth Wing. That last book, oh my God.
Yeah.
The fuck. So it's like, I don't want to get caught up in any more book talk things just because the crowd is. So I don't know. It's a solid 3. And the caveat, as you all just heard, if you could turn your brain off, which is almost impossible when reading, it's impossible.
You should not turn your brain off when reading.
You shouldn't have to do that. But if you are just in a mood for some vibes, and, you know, that's all this was good vibes.
But even then, so much of it was annoying.
And when the couple finally got together, we didn't get a whole lot of sexy time. We didn't get much open door either, which was like, come on, give us something.
It was so mild.
It was so mild. I'm like, just give me some raunchiness to make up. Come on, give me something.
I mean, for all their sexual banter, we just got...
Apparently, he's
not much.
No, and we just got aftermath of her saying what a good lover he was and how, you know, he made her...
He's such a giver.
So it was closed door, basically, though.
Yeah. I mean, there was one description, and then he's like, flip over, and then it's the next day, and she's just happy.
Yeah. It was very mild.
Yeah. So mild.
So if you're looking for a little exciting, sexy time to make up for the other stuff, you're not going to get it.
Nope. That's not this book.
So, I mean, honestly, I feel good that it did feel adult. So that was great. It was full on adult.
Yes.
So
except for the 4-year-old running around. I'm sorry. I'm going to stop.
4-year-old. Yeah. So 3. We agree. We are in agreement there.
3 stars. Yeah. Yes.
Lord have mercy. Next time, it's Casey's pick, and hopefully...
Oh, no.
I mean, we just keep bouncing stuff back and forth.
Oh, no.
This was my fault, so...
No, don't. It's not your fault. Like, it was a good read. We've had much worse.
Yeah, we have had much worse. Yeah. This is a tick in the win column for Book Talk. So
yes. Absolutely.
Take the win, y'all. Take the win. All right, I think we're done. What do you think?
I think we're done. I think that's good.
Okay. So this has been a fun conversation. Thank you for listening to the entire episode. We appreciate you for doing that. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow us in all the places. And of course, if you want to give us your feedback or talk to us one-on-one, join us on book clubs or on Patreon, and you get to see stuff and talk about stuff. You get on the podcast. And that's it. We'll see you next time. Take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Did you enjoy today's episode? If so, please head over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and leave a positive 5-star review. It's a simple action that makes a big difference. You can also like this episode on your favorite podcast player or share it with your fellow bookworm friends on social media. Joining the Shelf Addiction Patreon family is another way to support us. For as little as $2 a month, you can help our team create even more amazing bookish content. If Patreon isn't your thing, consider becoming a supporter on the Spreaker app for just $5 a month and gain access to exclusive audio-only content. You can find me everywhere, including Instagram, X, and TikTok under the handle Shelf Addiction. Join our book club of the same name on the book club's website and app, where we discuss all things bookish and more in a safe space. The Shelf Addiction podcast is a part of the Nerdy Maven Network. Thanks for tuning in.